Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is your official welcome, guys. Welcome to Fitness in the New Norm. We are going to talk about what it's like now to get exercise in now that everything has kind of changed. We are just over a year into this pandemic. We know it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And as I have experienced myself, as well as with my clients, it's hard to make that transition. It's really hard to go from I had a routine to now my whole routine has been taken from me. How do I create a new routine? Or maybe I didn't have a routine and now I'm home all the time and I need a routine. You know, I've put on the, what are they calling it? The COVID-19, right? And I need to do something about that. So we will talk about that. We're going to talk about a number of other things as well as we get going. So what I'm going to do is pop up on the screen my my presentation, and we'll get started right now. So give me 1 second while I pull this up. All right, so as I mentioned, this is Fitness in the New Norm. This is what we're going to be talking about today. And as I started to allude to, there is a lot of uncertainty right now, a whole lot of uncertainty. You know, what will tomorrow bring? What does today bring? We don't even know at this point, you know, what everything is going to be. So COVID took us all by surprise. You may have been in a really good routine. Maybe you were not in a good routine, but either way, this has tripped you up and you are ready to start working out again. Or maybe you've been trying to work out, but you haven't found a rhythm. You know, it's really hard when everything is in constant flux to find a rhythm that makes a lot of sense and that works for us. So we've had to kind of rethink our life. How do we work out? How do we socialize? How do we sanitize? How do we keep ourselves safe? How do we keep our families safe? And so it's caused social isolation. It's caused a loss of routines. We've lost the access to the tools that we're used to using. Maybe you worked out at a gym or in a studio. Maybe you worked out with friends or at a community center. That's gone away. And all the service providers we once had available to us have been harder to have. Another thing that we could not have possibly have seen coming was a shortage of dumbbells. Like, who would have thought? Everybody went home and started working out and you couldn't even get dumbbells because they were sold out everywhere. It was a crazy, crazy year last year. And now as we're coming into this year, it's become a little bit more normal with what's going on in our lives and how we can do things. And so some positive things have actually come out of COVID. For example, we've had to rethink things, prioritize what is most important. How can I fit those most important things in my life? And it's allowed us to look at other options. You know, I can't tell you how many people, when we first converted, I had a fitness brick and mortar, and we had to pivot in a day to online access. And boy, was that a rough bump and go because not everybody knew how to use it. Well, now we know how to use the digital stuff. We've been forced into it. So it has actually been a positive in that now moving forward, digital options are an option to us without so much stress and frustration, and we've gotten more comfortable with it. So there has been some positive outcomes, as well as learning just to slow the flip down. How many of us were just running like maniacs, and then March happened and we're like, everything kind of just stopped. Life just went to this, okay, I wake up, now what? My day, I don't know what to do with my day. So we learned how to slow down. And I know I personally felt like, okay, slowing down really is kind of nice. And maybe I need to rethink my stress level a little bit. So before we jump into the material, why don't I review with you what we are going to do. My goal for you today is to get a really clear picture of motivation and a really clear picture of what you need to do for exercise and a really clear picture of what you can be doing. So we're going to look at exercise recommendations by the ACSM, which is the American College of Sports Medicine. They're the ones who do all the research and kind of pull it together and say, all right, if you do these things, these are the outcomes you can expect. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a home strength training routine, a home stretching routine. And then if you want a cardio routine, all you have to do is email me. I'll leave my email on the screen, and I will send you a link to a 40-minute cardio video that I produced. So why should you listen to me? All right, so let me tell you about myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Heather David. I am owner of Shoreline Natural Wellness and Fitness and the creator of the Healthy 3 Weight Management System. I am a certified personal trainer, a holistic health practitioner, certified nutritional consultant, and a board certified health and wellness coach. So I have lots of alphabet soup after my name, and what it tells you is that I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm talking about. And then if you get to know me, or if you already know me, you know I am quite passionate about these things. Nutrition for healthy living, exercise for healthy living. I am a bit of a fanatic. And so I live out what I've been taught and what I teach. I'm also a wife. I'm a mama. I have 2 children. My daughter just got married last October. My son is graduating high school this year. I can't believe my babies are growing up. Avid sailor, my husband and I will actually be living on our boat this summer. So we're preparing for that. Very, very much love sailing. I'm a hiker, and anything that has to do with water or nature, I'm there. Sign me up. I want to be there. So I do exercise personally to be able to live the life I want to live without limitation. I don't know what your reasons are. I would love to learn what your reasons are. And as we get going here, feel free to hop into the chat box and tell me what is going on. You know, why do you want to do this? What is your purpose? We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things that are valuable in fitness that you get because you're doing it. And so we'll spend a little bit of time there next. So hopefully you can see some of the things on the list and go, oh yeah, that's why I want to do it. Oh yeah, that's why I want to do it. Oh, that too. Oh yeah, you know what, that's pretty good too. So let's jump in there. Hey Heidi, welcome to the class. Uh-oh, it just stopped letting me do my thing. There we go. So why exercise? Well, let's start with cardiovascular health. The more fit you are, the stronger your heart is, the less risk you have of heart disease, of stroke, pulmonary health, that's your lungs. The healthier you are, the more you exercise, the cleaner you eat, the stronger your lungs are. Your diaphragm, which is the muscle that moves your lungs, gets stronger. Your capacity to move oxygen in and carbon dioxide out improves from exercise, so you can breathe better, which of course is extremely important with this new disease. We want strong lungs, so if we sadly do get it, we can recover from it more easily. It prevents and slows the process of diabetes. So if you are already pre-diabetic or diabetic, you can slow that process down. You can even stop, and in some cases reverse it by using exercise and good nutrition. Matter of fact, exercise is one of the absolute most proven ways to reverse diabetes. So seriously, it's really good for that. It can improve your mood. When we exercise, we get these really amazing things going on up here, these endorphins. They're like the natural happy drug. And as a matter of fact, exercise has been proven to be more effective than antidepressants for moderate depression. So all the drugs that you might be taking to deal with your depression, this exercise could help you to be able to reduce those, or maybe even someday eliminate them. So exercise is really important for mood. For immunity, again, I keep saying it, but COVID-19, we need strong immune systems. And the more you exercise, the higher your immune system is. We have these vessels through our body. So we have blood vessels where the blood moves, but we also have lymphatic vessels. They're kind of like the blood vessels, the veins and arteries that move blood around our body, but these ones move lymph fluid. Lymph fluid is all the immunity supporting elements of our body. And what happens when we exercise, let me step back. When we want blood to move through our body, our heart pumps, right? So our heart pumps, blood moves. When we want lymph to move through our body so we can remove toxins and diseases and all of the nasty little things that try to attack us, we don't have a heart for those. It's our muscles that do it. So every time you move your muscles, they squeeze the lymph and push it through your body so it can be processed and removed. So exercise is a huge, huge way to really improve your immunity. Of course, all of us, most of us, I shouldn't say all of us, at one point in our life will want to lose weight. And most of us, when we get to that point, want to maintain that weight we've lost. And exercise is a great way to do that. It is actually one of the best ways to keep weight off in conjunction with diet. Research has showed us that exercise has a small role in weight loss and a massive role in weight maintenance. So if you're trying to lose weight, starting to exercise now will carry you over to when you're down to your actual weight you want to be at. It will keep you at that weight. So exercise is a great way to have weight maintenance as well as assist in weight loss. It's an improved overall quality of life. I mentioned a moment ago that the whole reason I work out is so I can live the life I want to live. Two things happen when we exercise that are huge to me. One of them is the immunity part. I want a strong immune system so that I don't get sick, so I can live my life. And the other is my muscles are stronger, my heart is stronger, my lungs are stronger, and I'm happier. So I get to do the things I want to do without effort, right? So hiking is easy and enjoyable instead of painful and difficult. Sailing, I can pull on those lines and run up the mast or the halyards up the mast. I can pull and crank on things and it doesn't faze me. I can run around on a wobbly deck that's leaning over sideways because I work out. And so improved quality of life is a really big one that most people can really lean into. Stronger bones. When we cause impact on our bones, so running, walking, jumping, when we do strength training that causes resistance against our bones, the bones actually build up stronger. Our body is super intelligent. It says that, okay, if you're going to put too much load on me, I'm going to make myself stronger so I don't break. So the more load you put on your bones, the stronger the bones actually become, and the less risk of osteopenia or osteoporosis as your body ages. And of course, then that means less risk of fracture. It's a way to be active with your kids and your grandkids, right? So because you work out, you can get on and off the floor easier with your kids or grandkids. Because you work out, you can run around the yard and play kickball with them. You can play frisbee with your dog, right? You can play fetch with your dog and go get the ball when they decide they're done. You have the ability to do that because you work out regularly. And the last three are bowel regularity. Not a lot of people like to talk about this publicly, but I am not ashamed to talk about it. Our bowels are an important part of our life. When they get slowed down, it's not fun. Our gut gets hard and round. It's uncomfortable. We get gassy. It's not good. When we exercise, it improves the motility of our colon. So that means that the fecal matter, the poo, moves through better and comes out easier. So it helps with that. It improves our energy. That is another big whammy for me. We think when we exercise, we're going to be tired. And sure, when you finish, you might feel a little, whew, that was a lot, tired. But then all of a sudden you get your second wind. So it does actually increase in energy rather than decrease it. And finally, it helps with appetite control. There's something that happens in our body when we exercise that makes us more insulin sensitive. So when we are more insulin sensitive, it helps control our hunger. So we have less insatiable appetite, right? It controls that. It also affects stress hormones and something called the HPA axis. And what happens there is it slows the stress hormones down so that our body doesn't cause us to crave fatty and sugary foods. So exercise can help control stress, which will help us to control our appetite. And it will also help us to control our appetite by controlling our insulin, which will also help us with diabetes. So yay, all kinds of good stuff. All right, so in that list, what do you guys see as something that you find really interesting? I'm gonna go off of this share real quick so I can see comments. Throw up your comments, guys. What do you see as being the most important? Need to be able to chase your kids around. Yes, Melissa, I love it. Exactly. What a great reason. Anybody else want to share why exercise would be important to you? What of that giant list that I just gave you speaks to you? You can throw it in the comments or you can kick your mic off and say, hey, and tell me why. Quality of life as I get older. Yes, Sue, totally get it. I'm right there with you. It's a great reason. It makes you feel so much better. And then as you age, your body ages better so you can do the things you want to do. I don't know about you, but I don't want age to define me. I want to be 90 and still running around on the deck of my boat, playing with my great grandchildren by then, you know, chasing our animals around, being chased around by my husband. I want those things. And I'm guessing you guys do too. All right, I'm going to pop back on to sharing that screen with you guys. And we'll continue going. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate when you guys pipe in there. It really does help me to know that, one, you're tracking with me, and two, lets me know how to guide our conversation. So let's talk about how to get exercise in now that we are in this COVID world. How do we do it? We want the benefits, we want the quality of life, we want to be able to chase our kids around, we want to be able to be active. So how can we get this exercise in? Let me start by my personal favorite, outside. Yes, I'm a fitness instructor. Yes, I've taught group fitness my whole life. Yes, I do personal training all day, every day. But would I rather be outside? 100% yes. My favorite fitness class I ever taught was an outdoor boot camp. We used the trails, we used the trees, we used the fallen branches. We just used the outside, and that was my favorite. Why? Because outside gives us a couple other benefits. It gives us sunshine, which improves mood more. So not only are we getting more endorphins from our exercise, but we're getting them from being outside in the sunshine. It also connects us to Mother Nature. Whether you think it's frou-frou science or real science, we are connected to nature, and energy runs through us and it at a constant basis. And when we reconnect with nature, we are calmer and more at peace with life. So getting outside is good. And the final thing I want to mention before I go into all these different things is when we find exercise that we like, we will do it. Let me say that again. When you like it, you'll do it. And exercise does not have to be on a sweaty indoor bicycle with a bunch of people and loud noise if that is not your thing. If you don't like it, you're not going to show up regularly. But if you love to go hiking, you're going to go do it. And you're going to get the same benefit plus more because you'll probably do it more often and you're getting outside. So let's look at all these options. Start thinking about them yourself as which ones you could implement in your life. First one on there is in your yard. You don't even have to go anywhere. If you have a yard, you go out there, you can kick a ball around with your kids. You can play Frisbee with your dog. I don't know if your dog is anything like mine, but my dog is a Frisbee freak. The one I was talking about earlier that's kind of a mutt. She is a lunatic. She will die chasing that Frisbee before she quits. But every so often, she's also kind of dumb and she can't see where it went. And so I have to go chasing after that thing. So that's exercise as well. Or I throw it because I'm really not good at Frisbee. You would think after all these years of throwing the Frisbee for her, I would be good at it. I am still terrible at it. I have to go get it out of a tree or off the house. You know, it just happens. So you can go out in your yard and play with your dog, play with your children. You can go out there and just do a workout. Maybe you want to play outside in your, like maybe you have a patio or a deck and you want to just do your exercise out there, go for it. Maybe you want to throw out a mat out there and do some yoga. Excellent. You can do that kind of stuff outside in your yard. If you have a hard wall, you can grab a tennis racket and play tennis against your with your racket and your ball against that hard wall. There are lots of ways that you can work out in your own yard. Parks, we have so many parks. We are really blessed around here. The number of parks available to us is extraordinary. You can find a park to do anything. And so going out into the different parks will make a difference. Now, I don't know where each of you guys are coming from, if you're in Muskegon or White Lake area, or if you're south of that, or if you're somewhere completely outside of West Michigan, but you can just do a search. Go to your local municipality's website and look for parks, recreation, outdoor, look up those words and you'll find all sorts of different parks available to you. Trails. Now here in West Michigan, this is something we have a plethora of. No matter where you are, north to south, there are trails all along our shoreline. And so going to the DNR's website is a really great one. There's another one called Trail Link that will give you biking trails. There is an app, oh shoot, I just forgot the name of it. It's just Trails, I think, trails.org. And you can find hiking trails anywhere in the US. I was on a trip down to Florida a couple years ago with a friend, and I'm like, oh gosh, look at these mountains, they're beautiful, we should go for a hike. I pulled up the app and we found one about 5 minutes away and drove there and had the most exquisite mid-drive hike. So you can find trails anywhere using the hiking app, as well as going, again, like I said, to the DNR's website and looking up trail maps there. Hoffmaster has tons of trails. North Ottawa Trail System connects to Hoffmaster. Muskegon State Park is where I do most of my hiking. Those are fantastic trails. Duck Lake State Park has trails. There are trails all along the shoreline. So just pull up, like I said, those DNR sites, or as well as your municipality, they might have them listed as well. Tie on some tennis shoes and go. You don't need fancy things to go on the trails. You just need shoes and a water bottle. So that's what you can do with trails. As far as hiking goes, there are also mountain biking. So if you're really adventurous and like to do things that are a little bit more intense, you can mountain bike. Owassapee opens to the public from time to time. You can go on their website to see when they're available for public use. So you can mountain bike out there. There's all sorts of trails as you go, like Baldwin and North, that you can do mountain biking as well. That leads us to biking. If you have a granny bike, is what I like to call them, the ones with the nice wide seats and the handlebars, and their brake is pushing back with your foot. Or you might have a little brake on the front, but you don't have gears. You probably have a basket and a bell. That's great. Go out and ride. If you have the fancy road bike with the super skinny tires and the gear ratios that are unreal, and you lean way forward and you ride really fast, great. Again, there is the Trail Link website that gives you all of those wonderful rails to trails that are all over Michigan. They've been knocking out all these old railroad tracks and putting in amazing bike paths. You can ride for an entire day and not run out of bike paths. Matter of fact, right here, we have all the way from Hart has connected into the Muskegon Trail System, which connects into the Marne system, which connects up to Cadillac. So seriously, you have tons of safe biking available to you, or just get out on the road. Just be careful. Make sure you've got a reflector on your bike. If you're riding near dusk or dawn, wear a helmet with, well, always wear a helmet, but wear a light on your head and something reflective on your back. So biking is really great. SUP, this is stand-up paddleboarding. This can be a lot of fun, good for giggles, which is also good for core activation. It's like doing abdominal workouts. When you first start using a stand-up paddleboard, you will spend a lot of time in the water. So wear a life jacket, but have a lot of fun. You can go, now I say this, but there is a guy who is down at Pier Marquette in Muskegon that rents out paddleboards. Now with COVID, I don't know what his hours are going to be like, or if he's even still down there this summer, but look for him. He is usually in the breakwater on the Pier Marquette side. So you could rent a paddleboard. In White Lake, Amy, in White Lake, doesn't Water Dog, right? Don't they rent them as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure about paddleboards, but I know they have kayaks and all kinds of things. So I imagine they probably have the paddleboards there also.
Yeah, so there you go. You can rent them. You can find a friend who has them. You don't have to go out and buy one, but if you love it, I do recommend buying them. Inflatable paddleboards are fantastic because they crunch down into something little and you can store them away. You don't have to have a big kayak rack. And they usually only take like 10 to 15 minutes to blow up. So if it's something you're interested in, inflatable one is really nice as well. Kayaking is great. Again, like Amy said, you can go to Water Dog. There's a group that comes down to Muskegon State Park with kayak classes all the time. You just go on the DNR's website to see what their schedule is. There is a guy on, well, there's in White Lake, There's kayak rentals at, oh shoot, I should have written this down. What's the name of that place in White Lake? Happy Mohawk. And then there is Guys, that's the name of it, Guys Kayak Rental on Muskegon River. So you can rent kayaks if you don't own them. Great exercise for upper body strength, core strength, as well as a little bit of cardio. Walking, running, hiking. This requires nothing, just a pair of tennis shoes and comfortable clothes. You can walk right out your door and go. You can go to the hiking paths. You can go on those bike paths because they're also for walking and running. So there are lots of options for you. If you are feeling a little more adventurous, you can go out in the trails and run. I'm out there hiking all the time, and every time I go out, I shouldn't say every time, but most of the time I do walk past a runner out there. So it is great running out there as well. So those are some really great outdoor options for you. What are some of you guys' favorites? Pop in the comments and share with us what your favorites are. I'll go off here so I can read. What's your favorite outdoor activity? What do you enjoy doing?
I should also mention that our library sits right on the trail. So it's kind of a great place to park, and you can bike or walk or, you know, whatever. And even if you've got kids, we often have a story trail, a story that's set up on the trail. So it's a great way to kind of get some family time and a walk in too.
That is a great idea. Thank you for sharing. Heidi, you like to hike, walk on the beach, and swim? I'm with you, girl. That is my life right there. Sue, hiking and biking. Yes, good, guys. I love it. Melissa, hiking. Yes. Oh, I love how outdoorsy you guys are. We are going to be good friends. I can see it now. All right, great, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Let me throw my screen back up here and we'll continue. All right, so the next slide here talks about what you can be doing at home. One, you can write your own workout, right? You could, if you feel comfortable writing it, write your own workout and do it. Set a plan of action into place and make it happen. Today, I'm going to give you a routine. You could follow that routine for 8 weeks before your body goes, all right, you need to give me something new to challenge, right? So what you get today will be good for the next couple of months. YouTube is full of different things that you can utilize. On the next slide, we'll talk about a couple of my personal favorite YouTube channels, but you can go there. Zoom personal training. I meet my clients right here, just like this. They're in their basement, living room, garage, wherever, and I'm right here in my family room, which has become my office, and they work out there. So those are also actions that you can do. So let's talk about, well, you know, before we move to the YouTube stuff, let me share with you just a little piece of wisdom. When it comes time to designing your workout, whether you're writing your own, using the one I give you, using something else, it's really important that you make a plan. How many times do you tell yourself, all right, I'm going to work out in the morning, but you didn't set the alarm early enough, you didn't have workout clothes planned, you stayed up too late, so even though you did set the alarm too early, you couldn't get up, right? Or you plan on doing it after work, but then by the time dinner is done and cleaned up, you're exhausted and you don't want to. So making a plan is really important because it will allow you to say, all right, I plan on doing X, and in order to do X, I need to have these things in place. I'll give you my personal workout routine as a example. My goal is at minimum to do 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. My Wednesdays are very full, so I try to squeeze in a quick cardio on Wednesdays, but if I can't, I can't. So those other 4 days are absolutely scheduled. They literally happen in the middle of my workday, so I block them out. I can never put an appointment on there because they're blocked out. So that's how I choose to protect my sacred exercise time. On Monday and Thursday, I do some sort of cardio. On Tuesday and Friday, I do some sort of strength. And like I said, on that Wednesday, I will often do some kind of quick cardio, maybe 15 to 30 minutes, whatever I can squeeze in, just because I need a brain break. And then on the weekends, I don't count it as exercise, but it is. I always try to get something in where I go hiking or I go biking or I just walk the dogs, something active. That's my routine. And in order to preserve my routine, like I said, I block it out so I can't put any clients on there. I block an extra padding of time before I want to start and after I want to start so I can get my water, if I'm riding, get my bike set up, get my MyZone on, which is a heart rate monitor device. And then I have time afterwards to quick shower. So when you pick out what your exercise routine is going to be, when it's going to be, think around it. What do I need to do in order to make this possible? And set up those things. So that's just my little tip in order to be successful. The final tip I'll give you to be successful is track it. What you track, you do. If you don't track it, what will happen is you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And before you know it, it'll be 3 weeks since you did it last. And you'll be like, I just did it the other day. But if you were tracking it, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's been 3 weeks. I got to get better at this. So it can be something as simple as having a wall calendar. And so nobody knows what it means. You just circle the date with a red pen on the days that you do it. Or you could actually write what you did. Or you could use an app. There are lots of tracking apps you can use. So something to track it so you can look and know when you did your last workout and how consistent you were so you can set goals to improve that consistency over time. All right, enough preaching. Let me give you some more tools. All right, digital options. I mentioned I'd give you some YouTube channels. So Healthy Living Teacher is my YouTube channel. There's a lot of freebies on there. I've been posting 10-minute workouts for years on there. Matter of fact, don't judge the old ones, all right? I didn't know how to use technology very well back then. So if you type in YouTube/Healthy Living Teacher, it'll bring you to my page. And matter of fact, that is where the cardio workout is that I posted for you guys. I put one on there that's a 40-minute cardio workout just for you guys, and I decided just to leave it public so other people can take advantage of it. So you can get to it there. 5 Parks Yoga is a YouTube video or yoga class that I love. She tends to be a little bit more challenging, which is why I like her. I like challenging yoga. So if you want to try out some yoga, maybe you want to start with something a little bit lower intensity than hers. But if you've been doing yoga and you're up for a challenge, 5 Parks Yoga is one of my favorites. Redefining Strength, the girl who coaches on that channel coaches the most amazing movement patterns for total body strength and control and balance and stability. She's really, she's my idol as far as conditioning training goes. She's amazing. And you'll see her physique and be like, oh my gosh, she stays in the most peak physical condition at all times. So, but she's got some really great education on hers. There are some workouts in there, but more than anything, there's some great education. So she's really good one to follow for that. There are lots of other YouTube channels out there. You can do a search for what you're looking for and just start playing with them. That's how I found 5 Parks Yoga and Redefining Strength. I was just looking up specific topics and fell in love with those channels, and they are actually saved in my personal channels now. Apps, there are lots and lots. I mean, since COVID happened, it has exploded. You could try a new program every week for a year and not run out of programs. There are so many of them. I have one that we offer for very inexpensive that we do in a private Facebook group. That's the Member Connect that you see at the top of the app slides there. If you're interested in that, I am offering you guys a couple weeks trial to see it, see what you think. It's very basic and it's designed with the beginner in mind. So we show you here's level 1, here's level 2, here's level 3. You can pick your level. Obi, they are, well, one, they're promoting like crazy right now, but a number of my clients have tried it out and really like it. They connect with you, they'll even call you out on the video because they're paying attention to who's in the classes. They are live classes. And you can sign up for their live classes and get the workouts in with them. They do have good sound science. I do recommend them as a site that you could utilize to get all of your fitness needs met. Beachbody has been an all-time favorite for a very long, long time for many people. They offer so many different types of programming that no matter what you like, you're sure to find something on there. So that's another one that would be really good. There are, like I said, so many other ones out there. Again, you could do a search and you might find something you like. I recommend taking the free trial at a time when you'll use it. Don't waste your free trial. Try out a few classes and see if their personalities match you, if the style of working out matches what you want. And if not, move on. Try another one. You will find something you like. So that's a really great opportunity to work out at home, or like if you're traveling in a hotel room or popping it up outside because the weather's going to be nice soon, and doing it out there. Some other ways to get your workouts in are in actual locations. And here's where things got kind of tough recently. Gyms were shut down for a long time. And then once they reopened, we had to start wearing masks. And so a lot of people didn't want to return because they can't breathe with the mask on, and it's a challenge. Or they were worried about sanitation. What I can tell you is there are a lot of really good cleanliness practices that have come out of this. So most gyms that I have come across at this point are doing a really good job with sanitation and control. So if you're concerned about sanitation and it's going to limit you from going, then stay doing your home stuff. But if you're willing to give it a try, most gyms have reopened. You can go onto their websites and see if they're open, or you can call them and find out what their policies are. Some are limiting where you have to sign up ahead of time so they can limit the control. Everybody's doing it a little bit different. It depends. Studios generally are classes, and so they're limiting, how close people can be, and they're trying to do it outside as much as possible. So again, go on websites or call the facilities and say, hey, what are your regulations? Community centers, most of them have not reopened yet for fitness type things, but some of them have. So certainly you can go out to like White Lake Community Ed, or in Muskegon, there's Orchard View Community Ed. There's a lot of different areas that you can look at what's being offered in your community. Go to your chamber sites. They are really good about telling you what's going on in the community so you can see what's currently available. If you like to dance, there is Muskegon Area Dance Lovers, MADLOS, I think, or MDLOS. I'm going to make myself a note and I will include that in, I think it's MADLOS. They have a Facebook page, and I will include that if you ask me for this info. If you send me an email to ask for the information, I'll include that in there. They meet in public spaces and teach you to dance, and it's free, and it's really, really fun. The last one I went to before COVID hit, it was packed. We were in 18th Amendment, so it was a really cool environment, and they had all this fun, like 20s music playing, and we were swing dancing. It was a blast. So that kind of stuff can be really fun if you like to dance. So look for community outreach programs like that. Now that the weather's getting nicer, a lot of them are looking forward to offering things outside. So that will become more available. Worksite fitness centers. If you have a Worksite fitness center, most of them are not open yet, as far as I know. Many of my clients that have Worksite fitness centers, they're still closed. But again, if they're open, that's available to you as well. So here are my top tips for going into a location. Wear your mask, wash your hands before you start working out and after you start working out, and maintain your space. If you're going to use a piece of equipment somebody else used, don't trust that they cleaned it. Clean it yourself and then use it, and then clean it yourself when you're done so that you're being kind to the next person. That's about it. And those were all things besides the masks that we were supposed to be doing before. So just be kind and disinfect for other people after you, and always disinfect it for yourself. And the number one thing, wash your hands. But do go to their websites to find out what they're doing. So how much exercise do you need? The ACSM, which is the American College of Sports Medicine, I mentioned this earlier on. I don't know if we were recording it, so I will mention it again. They are the ones that kind of moderate how much exercise we should be doing based on science. So science shows that a certain amount of exercise will keep us at a lower risk of disease. And at another threshold, it will help us to lose weight. So the basics that I have on the screen for you here are what is necessary to have good quality of life going forward. So doing 150 minutes of moderate intensity cardio, that's 30 minutes, 5 days a week, or 150 minutes total, which is kind of more what I shoot for. I do longer bouts in less days. Moderate intensity cardio, let me define what that means. It means power walking or light jogging. It means a moderate pace on a bicycle. It means that on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being asleep and 10 being dead, 9, you're gasping, 8, you're getting close to gasping. Moderate intensity is somewhere between like a 6.5 and an 8. Your heart rate is elevated, your breathing is elevated, you're getting kind of warm, and you couldn't do it forever. I mean, unless you're a marathoner or one of those crazy super marathoners, you're probably going to be getting pretty tired within 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your fitness level. So moderate intensity means work at a level that is somewhere between like 6.5 and 8 on a scale of 1 to 10, where your breath is elevated and you could carry on a conversation, but not real easily. So your conversation might be more like this. Hey, so what are you doing on Saturday? That's moderate intensity cardio. Now, the option is to do vigorous intensity cardio for 20 minutes, 3 days a week. So you're getting an hour now, right? And in this case, your breathing is more like short bursts. Can't really talk right now. That is intensity. So if you're wanting to work at that higher intensity, you can do less of it and get the same benefits as the moderate intensity. You just have to ask yourself, am I willing to work that hard? And if the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, go for the moderate intensity. You'll get the same benefits without feeling like you're going to die. Now, in addition to the cardio, you also want to be doing strength training. So I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers, kind of throw out what ACSM says, and then I'll break that down to make a little bit more sense with you. They recommend you do 8 to 10 different exercises for 8 to 12 repetitions twice a week. What that boils down to is 15 to 30 minutes of strength training a couple times a week. 8 to 10 exercises means the actual exercise itself. So let's say a push-up is one, a squat is another one, crunches are a third one. So these are some basic strength training. You need to do at least 8 of those, maybe 10 of them. So you're working on total body, and you need to repeat them for 8 to 12 reps, which means I'll do 8 to 12 squats. I'll do 8 to 12 push-ups. And that's it. That will give you health maintenance. It will take you into your aging years with better health outcomes. Now, if you want to improve your health, or if you want to lose weight, the recommendation for cardio goes up to 300 minutes of moderate and 2 hours or 120 minutes of intense cardio. And strength training, you would repeat those for multiple sets. So you would do it more volume. Now, ACSM has those guidelines, and they also talk a little bit about other things like Tai Chi and yoga and flexibility and balance training, but they don't have real specific recommendations around there. So let me give you the Heather recommendations. Flexibility should be done after every workout. Whatever muscles you worked, stretch them. You hold them for 20 to 30 seconds, bam, you're done, move on to the next one. The reason I make this recommendation is as we do strength exercises or repetitive action exercises like cardio, our muscles get tighter and stronger, which tighter and stronger we like because they look sexy, right? But they also continue to get shorter and tighter, right? Because they're tensing and rebuilding and tensing and rebuilding. So you end up you've seen those bodybuilders like this, they can't move. They look like a robot when they move. Everything is stiff. It's because they didn't work on loosening up all that beautiful muscle they created. So after you do your workouts, just take 5 to 10 minutes and do a quick stretch. I mean, 5 minutes is enough. So if you went for a walk, stretch your calves, stretch your hamstrings. I can't see myself. I don't know how much of me you can see. Let me back up. Calves, hamstrings, glutes, the outer hip, the quadriceps. These are the things that you want to be stretching after walking or biking type activities. You will also want to open up your chest because these muscles get tight from this motion or this motion and from all day this motion. And so opening up your chest would be really helpful as well. If you're doing strength training and you work your biceps, stretch the biceps. You work the triceps, stretch the triceps. Just think about what muscle did I work and how can I make it longer? That's a simple processing to help you figure out what stretches to do. And I'm going to give you some today too, so don't worry about that. We will get there. As far as Tai Chi, yoga, and balance training goes, my recommendation is do balance training with your strength training or with your cardio. What I mean by that is practice balance when you're doing your strength training exercises. For example, let's say you're doing a bicep curl. Take your foot off the ground and do your bicep curl. Do half of them on one foot, half on the other foot. While you're doing your walking, step up and down on the curb for a few, and then do the other leg for a few. Work on that balance. Play like a child. Like, you see that curb? Stomp up and down on it. Great. How about trying to walk on it? Practice. By practicing balance, you'll actually improve your balance. All right, so before we transition to the workout, I want to pop off of the screen here again and have you guys pop into the comments. Tell me what your biggest takeaway so far is. Like, what has been the most interesting to you so far? Give you guys a second. I'm going to dance while I wait because I can't stand still. Maybe your biggest takeaway is, hey, I can actually do that. That's not that much workout and I could be healthy. Maybe your biggest takeaway is, oh, I can check out the DNR website and figure out where there's a hiking trail. The importance of planning. Great, Melissa. Oh, I love that that was a takeaway. Thank you for sharing. Yes, we've got to plan ahead in order to be successful. We have all these great thoughts of what we want to do, but unless we actually figure out the plan around it, they just don't seem to materialize. Great, great. Anybody else have a big takeaway they want to share? All right, well then we are going to transition to the workout. What do you guys say? Yay? Okay, so if you can, and I know not everybody will be able to because of their life situation right now, but if you can, grab a sip of water, stand up and do this with me. What I would like to do is I'm going to show you the exercises. I'll tell you the name of the exercise, and then I'll show you the exercise and I'll talk through everything while I'm doing it. So if you're doing it with me, you'll get to work out while you learn, and then write yourself a bazillion notes. If you feel like you can't, get the writing down and the exercise, that's okay. You can do the workout when we're done. Patricia, refreshing everything I've learned. Oh, is this Pat? Pat F, I won't say your last name. Is that you who's watching? I'm so glad you're here. I didn't know that was you. Thanks for being here today. All right. So let's get started. So here is what you're going to need for your at-home workout that you get to do now for the next 8 weeks, twice a week. Yes, it's me. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Pat. Okay, so you will need dumbbells. And I'm just going to use some light ones. But my recommendation is if you're new to fitness, some 3s, 5s, and 7.5 is enough to get you started for quite a while. And if you've been working at it for a while, maybe some 10s and 12s would be a good idea too. So that's up to you though. If you've been working at it a while, you probably already know what resistance you need. The way that you know that you have the right resistance is on your last rep, you could not have done another one. If you could have done another one, it was too light. And although you may go, but then it's hard. Yes, that's the point. It should be hard. What strength training does for us is it tears the muscle down so the body builds it back stronger. And if it's so easy that you don't really feel like you worked hard, well, you barely tore the muscle down and your outcomes are going to be much smaller. So grab something that challenges you. You may also want a chair. So something as simple as a folding chair will do. I'm going to move way back here so that, there we go, so that you guys can see me better. Oh shoot, when I go full screen, I can't see myself. So hopefully, there we go. Now I can see myself. I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so you need your weights and you need your chair. And then we'll get started. So every workout needs to begin with warming up. And this is strength training. And so you don't have to do a cardio workout, but you got to get your joints and your muscles ready to go. So what's good is think about each joint. You want to warm up every joint in all the directions it goes. So my wrists and fingers, my elbows, right? Shoulders, all the directions they go. My spine, I want to warm it up, twist it, bend it. Hips, I want to warm them up, moving my leg front to back, side to side, my knees. So if you think of it from the perspective of moving a joint in every direction, you'll warm up great. So we'll do that right now. So hopefully you will be working out with me. Let's start with some wrist and hand warm-ups. Now I like to step touch because I like to get my blood flowing or march in place as well. You don't have to do that. If you're one of those people that are like chewing gum and walking are not two things I can do at the same time, hold still, it's all right. All right, let's begin to bicep curl. And we're also, when you're doing your bicep curl, you're not just coming to the bottom, but in this case, you're gonna swing the arms back a little bit. So we're warming up the elbows and the shoulders. Keep going. I'm just gonna move this out of the way for the minute so I can give you guys a better view here. I will ask that if you have a question and you want to ask it while we're in the middle of something, turn off your microphone and ask it, because in the screen that I'm in right now, I can't see your comments. All right, arms out to the side, cross over and open out wide. Or if you put it in the comments, Amy, would you type it up on the microphone? Would that be okay?
Sure, yep, no problem.
Okay, thank you. That way, if you're not comfortable speaking on the microphone, guys, feel free just to ask it in the chat and Amy will tell me what you said. All right, one more. We're going to W. So you rotate up, rotate down. Oh, my chest is sore from my workout yesterday. Remember I told you I do strength training on Tuesday and Friday? Yeah, ouch. Sometimes we get what's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. And if you don't get it, it doesn't mean your workout wasn't good. It just means your body was very efficient at removing the waste products. But sometimes you get it, and I have got it. All right, let's work on warming up the spine. So I'm gonna have you go chin in, chest in, belly in, all the way down, and then reverse and roll it up. So you're creating a little wave with your body and rolling it up. And I'm already starting to warm up, so I will get rid of my jacket shortly. That is another piece of advice I'll give you. Dress in layers, because at first you might be cold, but it won't be long and you'll be warm. All right, let's move to the hip. If you need something to stabilize, you can grab onto a chair, but you're gonna swing your leg from front to back. So we're moving down to the hip now, front to back. Couple more to go. And then take that same leg and go side to side. Again, you could be holding on to something if you struggle with balance, but here would be a great opportunity to work on balance. And release, switch legs, front to back. Couple more to go. And then take it side to side. Again, if you need help balancing, grab onto something. And then release. All right, bring the knee up on both sides. And we're going to work that spine, so twist a little bit. I find twisting towards the leg that's up feels the most comfortable, but honestly, it doesn't matter. You could, I don't know if I can make myself do it, twist towards the other hip. It's up to you. That's really unimportant here, guys. So if you want to be writing these warm-ups down, you can. If it just helps you, remember them. Otherwise, just like I said, think about warming up your joints in every direction. All right, last one. We're going to squat down and then go up to our toes. So this is warming up hips, knees, ankles, and all the muscles that support them. Now, the depth of your squat is going to depend on you. I like to go here, but my knees are okay with that. If your knees aren't, keep them more shallow. Couple more to go. And then we're going to get started. Yep, I'm done with that. All right, done. Okay, you guys ready? Pens ready? First exercise is Crescent Squat. Crescent Squat. So what we're going to do is we want to work our muscles in all the angles that they go, right? So when we're doing these exercises, we want to think about what directions can my hips move? What directions do my knees move? For example, the knee is a hinge joint. This is all it does. It only does what's called the sagittal plane. But the hip, the ball and socket, and it goes all kinds of directions, right? We can make it go almost anywhere. So when we want to work the hip, we want to work it from lots of angles. So that's why we're throwing a crescent, and then you sit and do a squat. Then we do the other leg, crescent, sit, and do a squat. We'll do 10 of each. And so right now, I'm not using any weight. This is number 3. If you were using weight, it would look like this. Weights at your side. They're just kind of dangling there, making you heavier, challenging your body more. And of course, I was talking and I lost track of count. I think that was the end of 5. We'll call this 6. If you're doing it with me at home and we do a couple extras, just think of it as a bonus. Almost there. This one will probably get your heart rate up a little because we're working a lot of muscles. As you're doing it, your butt is going back, your chest is sitting tall, your hips are going back. A real common error is a caving in or a bending over with straight legs. So you can think of it as, I want my butt to go back towards the chair. That'll help you get the right body position. All right, we'll call that 10. That's your first one. So again, crescent squat, 10 per side, using a resistance that challenges your legs, and probably your heart. I'm breathing a little hard myself. The next one is a push-up with lateral arm rotation. So what this one is going to do is it's going to work the chest, the back, and the whole core. Now there are a couple ways you can do this. Level 1 would be at the wall. You do your push-up, you rotate and open up to the side, and then you go to the other side. So here would be level 1. If you're just starting out, this is a great place to start. So again, it's called a push-up with lateral arm rotation. The next level would be doing it on a chair. You do your push-up, bring your hand to center, rotate, push-up, hand to center, rotate. I find that doing a kneeling push-up with rotation is a little easier than trying to do it on a chair. So if you can get to the floor, Looks like this. Push up, rotate. Knees are on the ground. Only thing that rotates is the spine and shoulder. So again, we're going for 12 this time, which would be 6 per side. And as I was saying again, I stopped counting and started talking. So we're going to call this 7, 8. Notice the posture of the body. And if you can do it on your toes, looks like this. All right, that is our 10. Or 12, sorry, that's our 12. So you're gonna do 12 of those, 6 per side. So now we've worked our lower body and our upper body. Then we're gonna go to a core exercise. Many of you are probably familiar with this exercise, but it's been around a long time. It's called the bicycle. Level 1, you're on your back. Your elbows are out of sight. Real common error I see is elbows in front of you, because what this ends up doing is you cranking on your neck. And then you're doing a chin crunch, not an abdominal crunch. So arms out to the side, hands back behind your head or on your neck. For some of you, you might even want to place a towel and hold the towel. That will help you to keep from pulling on your head. And you cross to the opposite knee. 1, 1. We're going to do 10 per side. 2, 2. You're taking your shoulder towards your knee, not your elbow towards your knee. If you do your elbow towards your knee, notice what happens. There's like no crunching happening. But if you do your shoulder towards your knee, now we've got a crunch. Level 2, you do your feet up and you push one leg out and then the other leg out. Level 3, you come into a V and you do the same thing, one leg at a time. We're doing 10 per side, so it'll be like doing 20 of these puppies. We'll call that 8, 9, 10, and done. All right, how we doing? Everybody feeling okay? I hope so. In the comments, tell Amy how you're feeling, how these exercises landing with you.
It's like Heidi had to leave us early, so fortunately we've got the recording, so she can catch it later.
Good, good.
Oh, and Melissa says, how do you stay motivated to exercise?
Excellent question. Oh, I love that. Okay, remember that big list of things earlier that I mentioned? That, the cardiovascular health, the pulmonary health, that's what can guide you to staying motivated. Let me tell you my personal motivation. I have rheumatoid arthritis. Moderate level intensity exercises can reduce my flare-ups. So that's huge, because for me, it's all about quality of life. I also told you I'm an avid sailor. If I ever come to a day that I cannot run around on the deck and pull lines, my life might as well end. That is like absolute joy to me. So I exercise for that. So the reason I make those points is that you have to connect with why it's important to you, so that not doing it is like the worst thought in the world. There are lots of days I don't feel like exercising. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. But I remember after I finish this workout, I'm gonna feel a lot more energy. And it's also gonna help me to not hurt so bad tomorrow. So anyways, that's my piece of advice. It is, I wish I could say, there's this really great pill. If you take it, you will always be motivated. But it really comes down to being intrinsically motivated. From the inside out, you want it so bad that no matter how much you don't feel like doing it, you're gonna do it anyway. So my recommendation would be, Melissa, connect with your why. Why is exercise important to you? And so often we start choosing exercise because we want to lose weight, or we want to tone up for bathing season. And all those are great reasons and realistically good reasons. I mean, I lift because I want strength, but also because I like muscle is sexy and I want sexy muscle. So, I mean, I have that also going on in my head. I don't want to be soft and bleh. I want to be hard and strong. And so connecting with those whys rather than just for weight loss, because weight loss is an arbitrary thing. It's like we really want it, but it's really hard to attain. And so if we have a day where we eat poorly and the next day we gain weight, well, then we want to give it all up. But if we're focused not just on weight loss, but the other outcomes, the ones that really connect deep down inside, that's how we keep going. So that was kind of long-winded, but there's your answer. Thank you for asking. All right. Was there any other comments before I move on?
Nope, looks like that's it for the chat for right now.
Okay, awesome.
Oh,
Thank
just
you.
a thanks from Melissa.
Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. All right, so our next one, I'm looking at my list, sorry guys. Our next one is, side to side lunge. So we're going back to the lower body. The way that I built this is lower body, upper body, core. So that's kind of what we're doing here. A side to side lunge, again, we'll do 10 per side, so it'll be like 20. You step out to the side, you bend the knee that you're going with, and the other leg is straight. The torso is really straight, so be careful not to hinge forward. When lunges are hard, the most common error I see is a straight leg and a forward bend. Bend that knee, chest up. Even if it's shallow, that's what you want. So we go to one side, and then we go to the other side. And if you're working in a space that's really limited, you can do all on one side and then move over and do all on the other side. That's okay too. There are some benefits to going from side to side, but they're not significant. So we're doing 10 per side. And you'll start to hear me breathing heavy again because these get the heart rate up. So that's the nice thing about exercise. It's all connected. Doing strength training can give you cardio. Doing cardio strengthens you. So including like your calves and your thighs and all that good stuff. All right, again, I'm talking and not counting. You would think after all these years I could keep track, but I don't. So we're gonna call that 9 and 10 and done. All right, next one is called an elbow push-up. So that was a side-to-side lunge, you're doing 10 per side. Next one is an elbow push-up. This one you can do at a wall until you've mastered it, and then you go to the floor. So I'll show you how it works. Basically, your elbows are at your side and you're leaning against the wall, and then you push your elbows, forcing your chest forward, and then you release. This works these muscles back here that strengthen your shoulder, your rotator cuff, and all the big muscles of your back, so that your shoulder blades lay flat like they belong, where they belong, and you lower your risk of injury in the rotator cuff. So it looks like this. Let's move this. I don't have a wall right there. All right. Oh, and that wall is like 5 degrees. Whew. All right. So your body goes into a bridge position. Your elbows are against the wall. Your head is against the wall. You push away and you release. You push away and you release. So we're working that mid back and the upper back, all while working the core as well. All right. So once you've mastered it against the wall, you can go to the floor and figure it out there. And I will tell you, master it against the wall first, because until your brain, so the nerves of your body, connect with the muscles and tell it what to do, this is a weird motion. Most people don't do this in everyday life. So you have to train your body what the heck it is before you put it under more load. So you sit with your knees bent, hips on the ground, push up and come down. Control the drop. Try not to fall down. This is really going to strengthen that mid and upper back. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I think the sexiest muscles are the backs. I don't know what to tell you, but like watching a person row and you can see their back, it's like, whoa, that is fine. All right, so you're going to do 12 of those. That's called the elbow push-up. Start at the wall. Once you master it, go to the floor, do 12 of them. Moving on, slow mountain climbers. So again, like the push-up, it's really going to depend on your body. Level 1, you'll do it on a chair. These are slow. You're not running up the mountain. You're climbing up a really steep mountain. We're focusing on core strength here. Core is everything that stabilizes the hips. So that means we want to hold so tight that when we're in that plank position, we look like we're standing really tall. not like we're bending over. So a common error I see is this. So in order to avoid that, shift forward so your shoulders are over your hands. Your feet are hip width apart. Tuck your tailbone in a little and pull your ribs right here in. Not necessarily suck your belly button in, but pull your ribs in. That's going to force you to lock in the abdominal muscles. And then slowly go one knee and then the other knee. 10 per side. This is going to strengthen your shoulders and everything in your core. Front to back to side. And this is 10 and done. All right. The next one we're going to do is bridge. These are our last 3. There are 9 exercises in our set. To do a bridge, you lay on the floor. Level 1, hands are on the floor, and you squeeze your butt cheeks, lift up as high as you can, come down just till you almost touch the floor but don't touch, and go up again. This is called a bridge. Your feet are hip width apart and your knees stay hip width apart. Don't let them cave in or turn out. Just keep them nice and straight. Level 2, place a dumbbell on your, like in the crevice just below your hip bone and where your thigh comes up, and drive up there. So you can add a little load to it. And level 3, you do it on one leg. I do recommend hands on the floor at first, but once you get stable enough, you can take your arms up. You're pushing, getting that hip up and coming down, almost like you're trying to press your top foot on the ceiling. So these are your 3 levels. If you're doing singles, go for 12 of them. If you're doing per leg, I would shoot for 8 to 12 per side. It's just going to depend. Like when you're first learning to do them, you're going to probably do 8 of them. But as you get stronger, you could go up to 12. That's your bridges. The next one is open bicep curls to overhead press. This is going to be a light load, guys. When you first start out, start with something very light, 3, 5. If you've been lifting for a while, maybe 7.5. And then you can increase from there. Right foot forward, left foot behind. So it looks kind of like this. This is allowing you to sit back to give your back some support. Palms start by facing your thighs. Then your palms face your shoulders. And then your palms turn and face away. It's called bicep curl to swimmer's press. Rotate, 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 rotate. Remember what I was talking about, those different planes of motion. We're going to do 6 with the right leg forward, and then 6 with the left leg forward. So let's do 2 more. As you're doing these, be careful not to let your arms swing back. So you're controlling them and stopping them here. The tendency is to start using momentum. You don't want to do that. Control it. Let's switch legs. So now your left leg is forward, your right leg is back, your spine is tall. Remember in the beginning when I said you could add a balance challenge by lifting a foot? This would be a good opportunity for that. And let's do 1 more. All right, guys, the sun is peeking out at my house. We may just finish up and get to go outside and enjoy some sunshine. All right, so those are your bicep curls to overhead press. Rotate, rotate, rotate down. All right, the last one we're gonna do is something called bird dog. Bird dog comes from yoga, so those of you who do yoga will recognize this. Knees hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart, body shifted so your shoulder is over your hand and your hips are over your knee. Level 1, you lift your right arm, hold for a count of 1 or 2, release, and do the same thing on the other side. So up, hold, release, up, hold, release. Now, level 2, you do opposing appendages. So it's right arm, left leg, set down. Left arm, right leg, set down. Notice the pace. We don't want to do this fast. Also notice the spine is lifted and the back is flat. So what we want to avoid doing is arching and letting our butt kind of come up. We also want to avoid coming here. So hands or shoulders over the hands, hips over the knees, spine nice and straight with your gaze slightly in front of your hands. We're doing 10 of these per side. This is our last one. Do 2 more per side. And last one. And release. All right, that's your strength training. You've done 9 exercises and you've done them 1 time through. Once you complete that, you can go into your stretches or you can go back to the beginning and start again. For us today, we're going to go to our stretches. So here are the stretches. Grabbing a chair, sitting on a chair. We're going to start with a chest stretch. So you take your hands back to the back of the chair. If you're sitting in a couch or something, you can just take your knuckles back. But if you can, grab on, push your chest up, chin up slightly, open up the shoulders, chest, and bicep. So you feel a big stretch from your arm across your chest. We hold our stretches for 20 to 30 seconds and do them 1 to 2 times through. Today, we'll do them just once. All right, staying seated in your chair, bring your hands into your lap and tip your ear to the side. Relax your shoulders down. 20 to 30 seconds. Switch sides. And release. We have these big muscles right here called Latissimus Dorsi. You can kind of grab onto them if you want to. It's kind of fun to feel it under there. It's a big muscle that comes out down your back. We're going to stretch those out by pushing the hands up and then tipping over right here. So you feel your whole side right here stretch. You can even use your other hand to kind of push and stretch it further. All right, let's switch sides. So you're tipping over, lifting up, and you can even use that other hand to kind of push it a little further. These are called overhead lats. So those of you who are taking notes, when you see them, that's what this one is. You can think of it as an overhead stretch bend if you want. All right, release. Figure 4. Keep your left foot on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your thigh. For some of you, your knee might be kind of high. That's okay. Use your hand to put gentle pressure on it, but not so much pressure that it hurts. If you can just relax it all the way down, you can also hinge forward with your body to take the stretch a little further. So you might be here and able to come forward. Just kind of a side note on stretches, an important side note, you should never stretch to the point of pain. If your muscle is bouncing and jumping, or you're feeling it hurt, it's too far. The spot that you want to go to is that point of mild discomfort. You feel it stretching, but it doesn't hurt. When you go to that point, your muscle will relax and stretch. When you go to the point where it's bouncing and jumping or it's really hurting, it will actually engage something called the Golgi tendon reflex, which will tighten it more. So just to the point of light discomfort. Switch legs. So again, if your knee is way high, go ahead and just give it gentle pressure. If you can, let it fall all the way down. And if you can, come forward. These are called the figure 4. So just like in the warm-up, we stretched all the joints and they're at different angles. That's what we're doing now. And release. Last one in the chair is the hamstring stretch. You're going to sit towards the edge of your chair. And then you're going to separate your feet so that you feel good and stable, and then come forward. If you can get here, great. If you can get to your feet, great. The objective is straight legs. So try not to bend your knees. If you have to, come up higher. And then sit on the edge of the chair enough that you aren't going to fall off the chair, but you do want to get near the edge. And release. Let's stand up for our last 3. Again, you would be next to your chair. You'll take your left leg forward, right leg back, and drop your hip down. Your calf is relaxed, your heel is off the ground. What we're focusing on is this muscle right here. So one foot is in front of you, one foot is behind you. You're nice and tall. Now push back so your calf stretches, your heel goes down, and your front leg straightens out some. You should feel that down low. All the stretches that I'm giving you today, like if you did this whole blend after a workout or a bike ride, it would be good. If you want to increase your flexibility, stretching more than just after your workouts will be really beneficial as well. So doing like picking one day a week that you just do stretches. Let's switch sides. Right leg forward, left leg back. Back heel is off the ground. We're stretching that hip, nice and tall. And straighten out the front leg, press the back heel down, calf stretch. Now, if this is too much pressure for your calf, you can come in a little bit more so your butt's higher up. The more your butt comes down, the deeper that stretch is going to be. So if it's too much tension, it's okay to come up a little bit and reduce the angle on the ankle. And release. Last one, quad stretch. This can be done standing or laying. I'm going to show you standing because I'm here. You pull one foot up, you bring your heel back towards your bottom, you drop your knee down next to your other knee, and you keep your torso tall. For some of you who maybe have some joint issues, that might be too much. You can do the same thing on the floor by just laying on your side and pulling it back. So it's up to you, whatever's more comfortable for your body. Let's switch legs. And release. All right, guys, take a deep breath with me. Refresh. Let's do one more. And that is it for your workout this morning. If you did it with me, kudos, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you were able to. I'm going to wrap us up with a couple pieces of information. Before I do so, though, I would love to know what you guys are saying. It looks like I can actually see the chat. There we go. Oh, okay, nothing new. So is there any questions you guys have before I wrap us up? All right, I am going to flip over to screen share again with you so I can give you some last bits of information, and then we will go from there. All right, so here are my final thoughts for you guys. 1, start small, start easy. If you're new to working out or you haven't worked out in a long time, do not go gangbusters because you will hate the day you met me if you do. I want you to want to do this long term. So start out, do those exercises one time through. It'll take you between the warm up, the workout, and the stretches, 15 minutes, maybe. So do those one time through. When you're feeling pretty confident with those, go ahead and try a second time through. And when you're feeling like a rock star, go for a third time through. So start small, start easy. Also start with lighter weights, work your way up. Remember what I said about using a weight that takes you to failure. So if you're doing 12 of them, by number 12, it should be pretty hard to lift. When you're first starting out, It's okay if you don't go to failure. Start small, start easy, build up from there as your body learns to tolerate it. Create a routine and schedule it. We talked about this already a little bit. Make sure that you have a plan of action. When you schedule it and when you set yourself up for success, you have a far greater chance of being successful, and track it so that you know when you've done it. So you can, one, pat yourself on the back for a week that you did your workouts, and two, go, all right, so I've let myself slip a little. What am I going to do to fix it before it becomes a not doing it at all? Three, follow for a week. What I mean by that is just do it for a week. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to do this forever. Tell yourself, I'm going to do this week. When we go with a mindset of experimentation, let's see how it goes, we're more likely to be successful because we're not afraid of the fact that we have to do this forever. Start with a mentality of, I'm going to do it for the week. I'm going to see how it goes, and then I'm going to reassess. Maybe I love it and I do it again. Maybe I decide I want to try something different, and I go look for that and do that. So focus on it from one small piece at a time. So then the last couple things say, and then do another week and another and another. That's speaking into consistency. Once you find something in a routine that works for you, keep doing it, because it's with consistency that we get our results. When we do it hit or miss, here and there, a little less, a little more, our chance of getting the outcomes we're after are pretty small. When we do it day in and day out and stay consistent and remind ourselves of why we're doing it so we do stay consistent and make those plans so we can stay consistent, we are going to be healthier and happier for it. So here is my contact information. That's my phone number on the screen. You can actually text that, but if you do, please do say who the heck you are. So I'm not like, hey, great question, who are you? I always hate saying that because I feel silly. So make sure you say, hey, this is so-and-so. I was at your presentation. I would love for you to answer a question for me. Send me a text, leave me a voicemail, or if I happen to answer because I'm available, I will absolutely talk to you. My email is heather@shorelinenaturalwellness.com. You can email me questions. What I would love for you to do is, if you want a printout of the name of these exercises, as well as a link to that cardio video I was talking about earlier, send me an email. And then I will also give you the link to my Facebook group that you can request into for a free trial. And we'll get you set up with that so you can try that out if you're interested. So email me, say, hey, I want all that information, and I'll be happy to send that to you. I did promise earlier too that if you're into dancing, I would send you the link to the Facebook group for that dancing, skiing and dancing group. So I will include that as well. So do you guys have any questions before we wrap up today and go out into this overcast, semi-sunny day?
Heather, does that offer extend to those who watch the recording also?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you watch this after the fact and you're interested, absolutely send me that message, and I'm happy to connect you with all those tools as well as that free trial. Absolutely. Good question, Amy. Thank you. Just checking in on your things. You're welcome, Pat. Thank you for being here. Oh, Sue, I'm glad you got something good out of it. Thank you so much. You're feeling motivated, Melissa? Yes! Score! All right. So you'll have to text me or email me and tell me your awesome success next week. Thank
Everyone,
you so
as
much
we're
for being
kind
here,
of
guys.
winding down, I already had Heather's website in the chat, but I'll put that in again in Facebook info. And then I always have to, because I'm representing the White Lake Community Library, toss in just some of our resources too. So I'll include those in addition to the great ones that Heather's got on there. You know, we've got some, your library cards can get you some access to some all sorts of things too. So we can continue that great start that you've given us.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that information. Oh, and that's great. You guys have DVDs that have different fitness on it. You guys, what another great resource. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Again, reach out to my email or text or call me, and I would love to connect with you guys and answer any questions you have, point you in the direction of resources and all that kind of thing. So have a really great weekend, and I will see you guys somewhere in this world masked up, hopefully, and we'll get to meet and say hi.